2, 3, 4.
Hola, buenos dias. Good morning, my name is James Rellis, and my pronouns are he, him. I serve gratefully as a member of our worship arts team, along with a member of our IAF team and our social justice team. I want to offer you a warm welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Welcome to everyone on our online campus. Welcome to everyone here on our Alluvial Avenue campus on this wet, rainy day. And welcome to everyone joining the service later on Facebook or YouTube. We are one congregation in many places. Somos un congregación en muchos lugares. We honor and respect the indigenous peoples on the land our Alluvial Avenue campus sits. As part of this recognition, we encourage you to learn more about the history of the Yokuts people and to support and visit the following resources: the Native American Rights Fund and the National Indian Education Association. On this Sunday, please know that you are welcomed if this is your first or your 200th time. Welcome. You are welcome no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual backgrounds, or religious beliefs. Your neurodiversity is welcome here. You are welcome no matter your disabilities, level of your formal education, or money in your bank account. Your gender identity and expression are welcome here. For those who are part of the LGBTQIA community, you are welcome here. You are welcome with or without documentation. All are welcome here. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. If you're on our virtual campus and want to share a joy, sorrow, concern, or gratitude included in today's service, just text it to 559-337-3772. Be sure to text your name as well so we know who you are. You can also type it in the chat box, but please do it right now so we make sure to gather them for later in service. Now, on our Alluvial Avenue campus sanctuary, in the chat box, or in the silence of your hearts, let's take a moment and say buenos dias and greet each other.
Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo. My name is Tim, and my pronouns are he, him. I serve gratefully as minister here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. As we prepare to begin this Invite a Friend Sunday, I ask that even in the midst of all this rain and dampness, you allow the sound of the tingsha, that beautiful sound of the tingsha, to awaken that beautiful part of your spirit.
One, two, three, four.
Not in my name. Not in my name. Not in my name. Not in my name. Witnesses watch through the window, the hearts locked in horror and pain, and lying strapped to a gurney as the poison is pumped through his veins. And I'm wondering who are the prisoners, who holds the lock and the key, who has the power over life, over death. When will we be finally free? Not in my name. 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 Stray and we stumble in seeking the truth and wonder why it's so hard to find. But an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth leaves the whole world hungry and blind. For ages I've watched all your holy wars, your jihads, your crusades. I've been used as an inspiration, and I've been used as an excuse. I've been in the Bible, in the Torah, and in the Quran. What is it in my teaching about loving your enemies that you people don't understand? Not in my name. 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 Not in my name.
Good morning. I am the understudy filling in for the role of Michelle Dickin this morning. Good morning, buenos dias. I am Kim Fox Christensen. I am a she, her. If you have a candle or chalice with you on our online campus, hello online campus, or, I guess here we don't need them because we're gonna take care of that here. Bring it close, we'll be lighting it soon. Did I mention I'm the understudy? So expectations? Okay. Our chalice lighting words come from Unitarian Universalist minister, the Reverend Tess Baumgarter, adapted. I'd like to invite your voice to become part of these words with the response, let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. Yay, they're up there, okay. Let's try that together. Let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. Let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. Who knows what existences death will bring? Let us create a heaven here on earth where love and truth and justice reign. Together we say, let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. Let us welcome all at our freedom table amid singing and great rejoicing. Black, white, yellow, red, and all our lovely colors. Healthy, sick, hurting, variously abled. Young, old, gentle, cranky, joyous, sorrowing. Together we say, let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. Let no one feel excluded. Let no one feel alone. May all have enough to meet their needs. May all share power generously. May all venerate the earth, our mother, and tend her with wisdom and compassion. Together we say, let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. May hate, violence, and warfare cease to clash in causes too old and tired to name: religion, nationalism, racism, the false god of gold, deep-rooted ethnic hatreds. May these all disperse and wane. May we see each other's true selves. May we all dwell together in peace and joy and understanding. Let us make a heaven here on earth before it is too late. Let us make this earth a heaven for each other's sake. Together we say, let us make this earth a heaven right here, right now. In that spirit, please light your chalice or candle at home as we kindle the flame in our Alluvial Avenue chalice. Hit it, Tim. Oh, it's not Tim. My script is wrong. Let us rise now in body or spirit and join in singing our song of praise, We'll Build a Land.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness solves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters. Peace shall be an ever-flowing stream. There, bring good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and will give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace can come. Build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters. Peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where the oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build a land my people will see. Come build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
I invite us to remain standing as we say together our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. Please be seated. Knowing that for some of us, this is probably the first moment in our week that we've been able to actually sit still and take a few centering breaths. And so in that spirit, I invite us to just breathe in, and as we do, let's imagine we're breathing in peace, and we're breathing out love. And again, we breathe in peace, we breathe out love. One more time together, breathing in peace, breathing out love. As we continue breathing together, allowing that breath to center us, to ground us, imagine that breath can carry us back over the last week, the last 7 days of our living, filled with joys and sorrows, gratitudes, concerns. As we breathe into those memories, in the past week, where did you notice beauty? Where did you notice beauty? I see beauty in this room, your beautiful humanness. Knowing that each week we create the sacred space to hold whatever it is we've carried into this space. The joys, the sorrows, the concerns, gratitudes. Some of us sent in a text or wrote in our chat box. Others of us stopped at the small table that is at the entranceway to the church and wrote them on a card. This is just a little of what is alive in this space. Lisa writes, Angela, Jamie, and Lisa's kickball team, pitch please, won their first game yesterday. Yay, congratulations. Rohan Kenzri wants to send love to the people of Iran. And Vicky is with us with a sorrow. Lost my uncle, my mother's last sibling, and a World War II veteran on Friday. So we hold Vicky in our thoughts. We remember, too, those unable to be with us today because of illness or mobility issues. We think of Betsy T. continuing to recover from her fall. We especially remember Margaret H. as she has transitioned into the gentle embrace of hospice care. We think of Bev F. on our virtual campus, Glenda R., Pat M., and Babs E. We also celebrate on this 4th day of February, Black History Month, but also remember every day is Black History Day. We also celebrate with those who spiritual practices align with the earth-based or the pagan traditions, the ancient celebration of Imbolc, which was February 1st. This has been celebrated since the 10th century. It's an early spring festival linked to fertility of the land and of livestock. Imbolc means in the belly of the mother, which refers to seeds being planted on Mother Earth. We also remember that in this very moment, California is being impacted by unprecedented and severe weather conditions, especially on the coast and in the south. And as we have been doing every Sunday since October 7th, we grieve all wars being fought at this time all around the world. And we grieve the 120 Israeli hostages still held by Hamas, and we grieve that over 27,000 Palestinians have been killed and over 66,000 wounded in Gaza. And so, for all that's been shared, for the memory of the 3 American service persons who were killed in Jordan by the drone, and for all that we hold in the sacred silence of our hearts, we light our candle of community. And in the gentle light of this candle, our call to meditation, pequeña voz, voice still and small.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow cantando ang mi dolor, llanto y terror, siento tu amor, cantando siempre darás calma y solas en mi pesar, cantando.
Please join me in a moment of reflection and prayer. Damos gracias. We give thanks for this chance to be alive. And with this breath, this chance again to be alive. Together, as we gather, we are holding love around those for whom this being alive may at times feel like too much. Those for whom the weeks or months have felt too long. Juntos los envolvemos en amor. Spirit of life, fuente de amor, please rest a hand upon the hearts of those who might feel as though they no longer want this chance to be alive. May we together as we gather and on our own as we journey be the balm that builds belonging, that reminds each soul, yes, you are worthy. You are loved. You are wanted. Eres valioso. Eres amado. Eres querido. Please stay. Por favor, quédate. May we be it in our connections, when we meet eye to eye, as we gather in the breath and slowly lift the song. May we feel it in the sharing, in the cups of coffee, scattering of smiles, and the way we touch the trees. May we know it just as our ancestors walked before us, in our being just as we are now, and then as our children carry on. All is connected, all has purpose. We belong together, and together we can. Pertenecemos juntos, y juntos sí podemos. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Que así sea. Bendito sea. Amén.
Good morning. When I saw this topic, I was intrigued. What would you kill for? As a pacifist, this is a deep question. The question itself is hostile, right? Growing up, the most violent thing I was allowed to watch would have been boxing. Two people, toe-to-toe, the sweet science, as my dad would say, right? But even that wasn't to the death. The first experience that I recall with this question came when I was playing video games. I know. Stay with me. For me, it was at a LAN party. Anybody know what a LAN party is? Few of you guys, okay. For those who don't know, we brought our home computers. And I'm not talking about the laptop. I'm talking about the tower, the monitor, the keyboards, the mouse, plus all of the cords to power this monstrosity, right? Most of the times it was a weave of cables, extension cords, computer cables, all so we can connect to play together. It always had to be hosted at the person who had the best internet connection and enough room and was willing to host 10 to 15 boys. I can still remember the smell of pizza as we reluctantly stopped playing for dinner. We were playing Counter-Strike, a first-person shooter video game. Think Capture the Flag, but with weapons of war. Machine guns, rocket launchers, grenades, claymore mines. We would play for hours into the early morning. We would split up across the house so we can know when we got, so we know who it was. Most of the time, it was like, "Who was that?" Or, "Come on, man." And for those who needed to sleep, they'd join us again at 7 a.m. after some soda and leftover pizza. We would go again all day, all weekend. It was glorious. But as I was reflecting this week, I was killing to be part of a team. I was killing to be part of a group. As I became more aware of society as a whole, things shifted to a career and what to do with life. Having been raised Catholic and became a born-again Christian in high school, and now working in retail, I was content. I was helping people, and it was an opportunity for discussion. Win-win, right? My basis for understanding was that the God of the Bible was great, and we should strive to further his kingdom. My only purpose on earth was to serve God with all of my heart and soul, and I would be rewarded in heaven. That's what I was told by people who I respected and admired. Some of these discussions were much more theological in nature, and so naturally this topic came up. What would you kill for? Thinking back to this time of my life this week, was I willing to kill for God? A God I just started praying to a few years ago? More importantly, was this something I wanted my children to believe? I call my daughter a world changer because she's changed mine in so many ways. I can recall back to the summer of 2020 and the Black Lives Matter protest, my daughter asking me why there were so many people marching and shouting. I had to remember that this is all new to her. How do I explain white fragility and racism to a 4-year-old? It's in those everyday interactions with my child, my worldview changed to better match hers. She reminds me to wonder and stay curious, to ask questions that might be uncomfortable. The way her mind works is fascinating. She will make me stop and look at something, make me smell the flowers. A mini Ferdinand. Learning and growing together, finding solutions in difficult situations that meet our needs collectively, being comfortable with being uncomfortable, and understanding that we are all part of this world. We're raising her to have a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose and self-assurance, and that hopefully that will give her a basis of understanding. An understanding that we are all connected on this big blue marble, and there isn't a problem dialogue couldn't solve. Thank you.
I invite us to rise in body or spirit and join Tina and Stolen Thunder in a rousing rendition of Gonna Lay Down My Sword and Shield.
2, 3.
Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my sword and shield down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. Gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam, everywhere I roam. Gonna shake hands around the world, everywhere I roam. Gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more. Ain't gonna study war no more.
Thank you, Tina and Stolen Thunder. I just want to thank James for that exquisite reflection. So it was beautiful. So as James told us, the theme of this service and of this sermon is, what would you kill for? Two friends were hiking in the back country of Colorado when they came face to face with a very angry bear. One of the hikers quickly sat down, took off their hiking boots, and began putting on a pair of running shoes. "You'll never outrun that bear," his friend said. "I don't have to outrun the bear. I only have to outrun you," he said. Why must someone die in order for us to survive? Lately, it seems like so much of the world is at war. From the ongoing Russian attacks in Ukraine to the US and UK strikes in Syria and Yemen, to Israeli bombs relentlessly decimating Gaza. The world, the whole world, seems at war. To that end, Vietnamese Buddhist monk Thich Nhat Hanh who watched his country drown in blood and bombs, writes, "The terrible war flower has left her footprints, countless petals of separation and death. Very tenderly, the wound opens itself in the depths of my heart. Its color is the color of blood. Its nature, the nature of separation." Between the years of 1900 and 2000, it's estimated that 43 million military personnel were killed during wars throughout the world. In that same 100-year period, 62 million civilians were killed worldwide in war, 20 million more than military personnel. This makes an estimated 105 million people killed by war between the years of 1900 and 2000. But surprisingly, as staggering as that number is, according to Oxford University researcher Max Rosser, that number, 105 million people, marked a massive drop in wartime death compared to the centuries that preceded it. Furthermore, Harvard University researcher Steven Pinker, author of the book The Angels of Our Better Nature, discovered and says that this positive trend continued in the first decade and a half of the 2000s, which he says saw the rate of war deaths drop to the lowest number since the year 1400. As summarized by journalist Zach Beauchamp, Steven Pinker's research declared that there are fewer wars today and fewer people are dying from them than ever before. The world is getting progressively more peaceful. What? Really? Wow. Now, those statistics mean nothing to the over 30,000 people killed in Ukraine since 2022, the 1,200 killed in Israel on October 7th, and over 27 now killed in Gaza. In fact, according to a U.S. News World Report article published just 2 weeks ago by journalist Julia Haynes, the positive trend of declining war deaths reversed itself slightly in 2023, which saw a total war death toll in the world of 170,000 people. Contrary to what most of us probably think and thought when we walked in here this morning, with the slight exception of last year, the human race seems to be getting less and less violent. But isn't killing part of human nature? Isn't war inevitable? Traditional thought says yes, war is inevitable. In the 1600s, philosopher Thomas Hobbes suggested that from the earliest of times, humans lived in battle with every other person. Hobbes believed the natural human condition was a state of perpetual warfare, where no morality exists and everybody lives in constant fear. Some 200 plus years later, Sigmund Freud agreed, saying, under primitive conditions, it is superior force, brute violence, or violence backed by arms that is our norm. From this traditional viewpoint, violence and war are inevitable, a fact of life. Violence and war is the human default mode. But some recent research is saying no to this image of human nature. Recent research is saying no to this image of human history. Recent research seems to back up our Unitarian Universalist belief in the ultimate goodness of people. According to William Ury, who directs Harvard University's Project for Preventing War, there turns out to be little evidence for the practice of widespread violence during the first 99% of human life on this planet. It is only in the last 1% of humanity's time on Earth, the last 10,000 years, that there is any clear archaeological evidence of organized violence and warfare. This suggests that evolving humans lived 2.5 million years in virtual coexistence, in peace. Granted, this time was before the upswing of the world's population and the subsequent rise of great cities and civilizations. Still, if this is true, it suggests that war is a quite modern phenomenon. If it's true, perhaps killing is not part of our inherent nature. Perhaps it is a learned behavior. A learned behavior of civilizations. Again, the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. If I were a bomb ready to explode, if I have become dangerous to your life, then you must take care of me. But how? I need your care. I need your time. I need you to diffuse me. Interestingly, Dave Grossman, a scholar in the field of human aggression and the roots of violence, says the actual difficulty with soldiers throughout military history has not been teaching them how to use a weapon, it's been persuading them to actually use it. Grossman, in his book on killing, the psychological cost of learning to kill in war and society, he says that the ancient battles were mostly great shoving matches. The killing actually didn't start until one army tried to flee, because even enemies couldn't bring themselves to attack while looking one another in the eye. That's why most war wounds were stabs to the back. This human reticence to kill continued over the centuries. After the Battle of Gettysburg in the U.S. Civil War, 90% of the 27,000 muskets taken from the dead and dying were still loaded. Grossman suggests that this is evidence that most soldiers would load their weapons, but would not shoot. And this, dear ones, is not an isolated incident. At the end of World War II, U.S. Army researchers discovered that our troops overseas had a terrible, quote, kill rate. Army research showed that in World War II, 75 to 80% of the American soldiers in combat did not fire at another human being. That means that for every 100 soldiers who had a clear shot at the enemy, only 15 to 20 actually fired. Grossman continues. Enter psychology. The U.S. military concluded they had to find some way to overcome this human impulse against killing. They turned to something called operant conditioning. a process of stimulus response, stimulus response, stimulus response that over hundreds of repetitions conditions a person to do just as the trainer wants without thinking, simply a reflex. In the US military, the operant conditioning took the form of ever more sophisticated target practice, taking the thought out of the process of killing. Round targets, you remember round targets, were replaced by human silhouettes, then pop-up human forms. Finally, in our high-tech age, the military began using realistic video simulations of combat, the exact kind of first-person shooter video games our kids play at home, the same kind of video game that James talked about playing as a teenager. So, what was the result of all of this operant conditioning? Grossman says it helped raise the U.S. military kill rates from World War II's 20% to 55% by the Korean War and 90% by the Vietnam War. I say this with no disrespect for those of us who currently serve in our military or who are veterans of the armed forces. But the U.S. military learned to turn human beings away from their inherent non-violent nature. They were taught to kill. So, despite the horrors we see today in Ukraine, Myanmar, Sudan, Nigeria, Yemen, Syria, Israel, Gaza, and far too many other places, the facts suggest violence is not our human tendency. The facts suggest our world has been increasingly returning to our inherent non-violent nature. I think back to a night 21 years ago. It was March 18th, 2003, the night before the beginning of the United States-led invasion of Iraq. That night, 21 years ago, I stood in a park with hundreds of others in Richmond, Virginia, where I was serving as minister of the Unitarian Universalist Community Church. It was a peace vigil, a protest against the impending war. I held a small lit candle, and I stared up into that vast night sky, knowing that all around the world, millions of other human beings were holding up their candles under that same sky in their vigils, all of us at peace vigils, holding on to the hope that humanity might, in that moment, reach beyond violence and choose another way. My dear ones, 21 years later, our candles have not burned out. 21 years later, we're still standing under that same sky. 21 years later, we're still holding on to that same hope of reaching beyond violence and choosing another way. This, I believe, is what it means to be human. This, I believe, is what it means to be a person of faith. As Unitarian Universalists, we have placed our ultimate faith in humanity itself. A risky place to put it, yes, but put it there we have, in the belief that the human heart can be taught to lean toward good. The human heart, which holds the potential for both wrongdoing and goodness, will ultimately lean to the good. To be fully human is not to strike and kill. To be fully human is not to bomb and destroy. In the words of Parker Palmer, to be fully human is to stand together in the tragic gap between the reality of our world and our culture on one side and what we know to be right on the other. We must live within that tension and avoid base cynicism and irrelevant idealism. That's a tough place to stand. But we do not stand there alone. We have each other. We have each other, and we're holding up our candles of hope. We have millions and millions of other human beings around the world who are also holding up their candles of hope. We have hope that human beings will continue to turn away from violence toward peace, a peace that echoes the words of Thich Nhat Hanh. If I were a bomb ready to explode, if I have become dangerous to your life, then you must take care of me. I need your care. I need your time. I need you to diffuse me, because you have made the vow, and I heard it, to love and to care. Que así sea, bendito sea. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
I loved him. And so once again, my dear Johnny, my dear friend, and so once again, you are fighting us all. When I ask you why, you raise your sticks and cry, and I fall. Oh, my friend, how did you come to trade the fiddle for the drum? You say I have turned like the enemies you've earned, but I can remember all the good things you are. And so I ask you, please, can I help you find the peace and the star? Oh, my friend, what time is this to trade the handshake for the kiss? And so once again, oh, America, my friend, and so once again, you are fighting us all. And we ask you why. When we ask you why, you raise your sticks and cry, and we fall. Oh, my friend, how did you come to trade the fiddle for the drum? You say we have turned like the enemies you've earned, but we can remember all the good things you are. And so we ask you, please, can we help you find the peace and the star? Oh, my friend, we all have come to fear the beating of your drum.
Whew. Wow. Amazing service. Hello again, James Rellis. I am beyond thankful for this welcoming community, from the greeters as we're walking in, to the sound team and the musical performers, to our amazing Reverend Tim, and all of those working behind the scenes, thank you. We are all part of this beloved community, from our online campus and those who will watch later, to everyone here on the Alluvial Avenue campus. This time allows us to connect, to be part of the interconnectedness of this big blue marble. And of course, sustaining all of this week after week requires financial support. For some of us, this is a time of financial struggle. We understand that your presence here today is a gift in itself. For others, this might be a time when you are able to provide a little bit more. When we understand and are inspired by your generosity, we thank you for your constant support. In this spirit, please join me in our words of offering. If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Here's a slide showing you how you can make your financial contribution right now. Or if you're on our Alluvial Avenue campus, you are welcome to drop a cash or check in the basket on your way out of the sanctuary. May this church continue to be worthy of its many forms of your gifts.
Looking at the flame of our chalice, I am reminded that it is a symbol of the love that as Unitarian Universalists we believe burns at the center of each human heart. In that spirit, let's join Karen and Troy with our chalice extinguishing words.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
We
extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Just a few quick reminders before James offers our closing words, and then we sing our sung benediction. Cecily is your go-to person, our coordinator of community life. If you are new or newish, to this church community, Cecily is the person who will help you get connected and understand what sometimes can feel like a labyrinth, but it actually isn't. It's pretty simple. Coffee hour will be inside today because of those little wet things that are falling from the sky. So what that means is we're going to need some of your help bringing in the round tables and then putting chairs around them. And then there'll be coffee and other things to warm your heart. Also, look for the table with the visitor sign on it. That's where a member of our Board of Trustees will be seated. And for folks who are new and a little like, I don't know anybody, just go to that sign and there will be somebody who will be very eager to talk with you. I would like to personally invite you next Monday, February 12th, to a workshop that I'm leading called Security, Serenity, and Peace of Mind, a Unitarian Universalist Perspective. It'll be in the morning on our Alluvial Avenue campus and then on Zoom in the evening. So you can take that workshop either in person or online. Now, I have the just great pleasure of announcing that in exactly 55 minutes, our online auction will kick off this magic moment. This is the biggest fundraiser of the year, but most of all, it's just a lot of fun. But James, as you said, for some of us, we know things are tight. So if there is an experience that you would like to have, like one of the dinners that's being offered, the show with Danielle that's going to be online and also taking place in the sanctuary, if there's an experience that you would like to enjoy, but you just don't have the extra cash right now, just talk to Melissa or talk to me quietly, and there's a donor who will put in a bid and purchase that for you, because community is more important than the dollar. So thank you to that donor. Thank you to all of you. And now, in exactly 53 minutes, this magic moment will commence. Last but not least, we have a tradition. If this is your first, second, or third time with us, we like to welcome you. We don't do it to embarrass you. Truthfully, we're just glad on a rainy day you chose to be here. So if it's your first, second, or third time, could you just stand for a moment? We won't leave you standing by yourself for long, I promise. Welcome, 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 welcome. I invite the rest of the congregation to rise with them as James offers our closing words.
Thank you. Our closing words come from the great black singer and social justice activist, Paul Robeson. I shall take my voice wherever those who want to hear words that might inspire hope and courage in the face of fear. My weapons are peaceful, for it is only by peace that peace can be obtained. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Amen.
2, 3, 4.
Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
2, 3, 4.